Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we have another teardown video. We're going to be tearing down this variable valve timing solenoid and we're going to see what's inside. This should be a fairly short video, so let's go ahead and get into it. But before we do, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button down below or smash that like button because it helps the channel out. With that said, let's go ahead and get started on today's video. We have our solenoid on our bench. Now I will have to alert everyone, it looks kind of bent. That's because I went ahead and I broke those little crimps that normally hold these two pieces together just to make this video a little bit cut down. So basically the way these come apart is there's a two-piece design, and the way it works is that normally this end is put onto here, and you guys can probably see it's a little crimped up here on the sides. They just kind of curl the edges in and that'll hold it together. Now, one thing that I do want to say is that sometimes when these are made out of plastic, sometimes this end that goes into the engine will be plastic. There's a tendency when you go to pull them out of your vehicle that they break right here at the joint where they're crimped. If that happens to you, don't panic. Grab something like very small, fine needle nose pliers or a very dull hook type of tool and just kind of pull these out. Normally you'll only have to overcome the pressure of a O-ring and they will typically slide out. Sometimes the plastic ones will come off in pieces and break. You just got to do your best, but just a little extra tips there when you're removing these on your engines. So let's start off with the real simple end. This part is basically an electromagnet. This is where our connector goes in and basically turns it on or off. And the way that these work is basically they redirect oil flow. It's either on or off, either going one way or the other way, however the ECM deems necessary. So when we shoot 12 volts through this, what winds up happening is this plunger will move in and out, and depending how the setup is, if we look on our other end, you can see how that center piece is moving, and probably not doing any justice, but I'm sure we can see that on camera. So that's all this portion is. Now this can fail electrically in here. Sometimes inside here oil can get in, as you can see, because this does work under oil pressure, oil flowing through it. Sometimes the seals will degrade, oil gets in here, causes the electronics to go bad. Sometimes this casing can swell up and cause it to go bad as well. That can definitely happen over time. Because all this is basically just pressed together, an electromagnet. There's no sealant or anything, so that's why these have a tendency to fail. So now that we got the electrical side down, we don't really need this anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and chuck that in my pile, and now we're left with our valve. So the way this works, if everyone can see, and I'm gonna try to do a little bit of a visual here for everyone, you'll notice that we have sides here where there's nothing there, and if you turn it around, you can see we have some openings. Now what happens is when you excite this thing and you activate it, you can see all those little ports opening up, and the computer controls that basically. This is a diverter valve in a way. It takes oil flow one way and then makes it flow into another way. That's all it simply is. Now this should come off here. Let me see if I can get it to come off. Sometimes they don't. This one may need a little persuasion, so let me see if I can grab some cutters here. Oh, there we go. She came loose. So in here basically we have our little valve. You can see the way it's cut out has little relief holes and little areas where it can direct flow. I believe typically in here these might have a filter. This one doesn't, but basically it can redirect the oil flow depending on what position it's in relation to this. And again, this is controlled by an electromagnet. This is the only moving part that's in there. And as a matter of fact, I shouldn't have thrown that magnet away just yet. So let me see if I can go. Whew, after digging in the trash, I found it. So basically, this will sit in here, and you guys can kind of see how it'll work. Depending on if this plunger pushes it in and out, it'll change the flow of it. Now, another thing that's helping this in there is a little spring, which just came out right there. This little spring will normally sit on the back side of it. See if I can kind of make it work there, just like so. Now I will say, don't mind the extra noise. My shop heater is turning on. It's very cold here in the shop today. We are currently in negative temperature, so this video is going to get a little loud here towards the end. So that is what's inside of this portion. You can see there's nothing else in there. And the way these typically work is that oil can flow through this, through the center. As you can see, this is also hollow, and it can do its normal thing, and then when the computer demands it, it can basically shut it off at a glance and redirect the oil flow. Very simple design. The more complexities of these are these barrels. They have certain intricate cutouts and relief holes and things of that nature. There are two seals on this. One would be the body seal that would seal off this to the electromagnet or electrical portion, and then the seal that would typically seal inside the block, which is this O-ring. Sometimes it's not uncommon to have one O-ring up here and another down here. It just really depends. This example that we're using came out of a Nissan, but these are really basic, really simple. The failure patterns in these are usually the electromagnets. Sometimes I've seen this spring get stuck because sludge or something gets in there if you're not changing your oil often. And another failure point can be this valve in here. Once again, if there's any sort of buildup, it will kind of get stuck. Now I already feel this thing has a little bit of a hang up here. I wonder if that's what the original failure point was on it, because it should move a little bit freely. And I mean, now that I've kind of done this a few times, I do feel it moving more freely than originally. So maybe it had some dirt in there. Maybe this thing could have been cleaned out and maybe reused, but we have no way of knowing that, because in order to tear these apart to clean them, you wind up destroying them. So we just go with a replacement, especially for the couple bucks that they cost. So that's what's inside of our Vvt solenoid. Hopefully everyone enjoyed this video. Like always, comment, like, and subscribe because it helps the channel grow. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and I'll catch you on the next video.